Good morning, friends, and good morning to Beth-El. I am Cantor Melissa Cohen, and I am coming at you from the Indianapolis area from Congregation Beth-El, and I am very happy to be with you this morning, offering you a fresh dish of Judaism. Up here is Evan. Hello. Okay. He wants to offer up he's just offering some Judaism to go also. So we have a fresh serving of Judaism to go for you this morning. So if you're in the middle of your work day, I encourage you to take a little brain break with me this morning. And if you're just hanging out, then, again, take a brain break and I'll give you a little dish this morning for you to think about. So if you haven't already done so, I hope that you will. The promo that was posted a little bit ago on Facebook has a link to my song sheet for this morning, and that will just help you follow along. If you want to sing with me from home, great. Otherwise, it'll just be able to let you see the words that I'm singing and hopefully let you be more engaged with the program this morning. So if you're not there, make sure that you get to the song sheet. And if you know of any friends later who would enjoy this program, the program will be, obviously it's live now, but definitely let them know about it later so that they can tune in and hopefully enjoy the fresh serving. So my theme today for our Judaism to go is Bayom Hahu. And in Hebrew, this means on that day. And these words should sound familiar to those of you who are of the Hebrew mind. And we find these words at the end of a prayer called Aleinu, which we find in all of our prayer services, Aleinu. And it speaks to the time when all of the people in the world, all of the peoples of the world will come together to call God one, that we will all be together and call God one, and it will be a time of complete peace. And so this theme of Bayom Hahu, on that day, really spoke to me during this time right now that we are all in this time of struggle that our country is dealing with, not just with the pandemic, but also with the racial struggles that we are dealing with. And it made me think of this hope and dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And if you're on your song sheet, I put the piece of his very famous speech that he spoke of at the footsteps of our nation's capital. And he said, now is the time. And I think that is also particularly interesting because it's a very Jewish thing to say. It's kiva moed. He could have used his Hebrew there. He could have spoken to his friend Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel and said and asked for some advice there. But now is the time, kiva moed, to make justice a reality for all of God's children. And we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. I have a dream. This is our hope. And this is the hope that I share, and I hope that you and our entire nation share with me. And it really brings this image of Bayom Hahu, on that day. So as I said earlier, so our country right now is in the midst of a plague. We are now in our 15th week of battling this pandemic. And it's a national fight that we are all up against. And Rabbi Sandy at our Cocktail Judaism program earlier this week on anti-racism spoke very eloquently along with our esteemed panelists and spoke about this plague also of this national fight against racism. And it made me also think of what we learned from our sages in one of our sacred texts called Pirkei Avot, which I know Rabbi Dennis taught about earlier in the programming for Judaism to Go. So Pirkei Avot, meaning the sayings, the teachings of our ancestors. And Rabbi Hillel, very specifically in Pirkei Avot, would teach this. In ein ani li mi li, וכשאני לעצמי מה אני, ואם לא עכשיו, מתי. And it says, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? And if I'm for myself alone, what am I? And if not now, when? So it's very, again, it's a very Jewish concept, but it, has made its way into our, into our global way of thinking, a universal way of thinking. And so a female Hoosier singer-songwriter named Carrie Newcomer, who has become a very dear friend of Beth-El and particularly of Rabbi Sandy Sasso, with whom she's collaborated on with some different projects, put these words in her own way to music, and speaking this universal sense of communal change, making communal and global change, because that's what we have to do. If not now, when? And that also speaks to what Dr. King had said in his speech. Now is the time to make this a reality. And this is also, it's from Pirkei Avot. Now is this time. And so I wanted to offer up as our first song, this beautiful song by Carrie Newcomer, If Not Now, which is based on Pirkei Avot. And I inserted the Hebrew. She didn't insert the Hebrew herself, but if you want to join with me with the refrain, the words are on the song sheet. And I encourage you to sing along or to read along with me and hear these words to inspire you. So this is If Not Now, Tell Me When. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. I may never see the promised land. I may never see the promised land. And yet we'll make the journey and walk it hand in hand. If not now, tell me when. ואם לא עכשיו, מתי? ואם לא have to make sure that kiva moed, that now becomes the time. So and we have to make that change together. So I want to read for you some pieces from a beautiful poem by a modern Jewish poet named Judy Chicago. And in one of the Sidurs, one of the prayer books that we use at Beth-El Tzedek, um, the Kol HaNeshama Sidur, which is right here. Which we use for Erev Shabbat on Friday evenings. There's actually an alternative poetic version of the Aleinu, which I spoke about earlier, this call to Bayom Hahu, this call for that day to happen. And they offer the Judah Chicago poem here that says, and then all that has divided us will merge, and then compassion will be wedded to power, and then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind, and then both men and women will be gentle, and then both men and women will be strong, and then no person will be subject to another's will, and then all will be rich and free and varied, and then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many, and then all will share equally in the earth's abundance, and then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old, and then all will nourish the young, and then all will cherish life's creatures, and then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth, and then everywhere will be called Eden once again. And this is a vision of Aleinu. This is a vision of all of us coming together for that Bayom Hahu, that one day. And one of our contemporary, again, singer-songwriters, Matisyahu, wrote a beautiful song many years ago now. It's like an old song now, called One Day. And I can't play it reggae style, sorry, it just doesn't work. My husband can play it better on the guitar when we did this a few weeks ago for Havdalah, but I'll do the best that I can. So I'm going to sing One Day. I have personally infused some Hebrew in there. If you're looking at the song sheet, you can see where I did that. And I included the words from that part of Aleinu, Bayom Hahu Yiyeh Adonai Echad, that one day all of the, that will come together and call God one. So that we can focus on that. I also included, there's a part where Matisyahu writes that we'll all be proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like, and then I inserted there, Mi Chamocha, Bailim Adonai, Mi Kamocha, Nedar Kodesh, which of course are the familiar words from Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, that our people, the children of Israel, sang at the shores of the sea as we approached our freedom, having been in bondage in Egypt for so many years. And so that's our freedom song, always. And so that spoke to me. So those were just my little infusions in there. So here's One Day. You'll all give me a break on the reggae, because I can't do the reggae, but I'll do the best I can here. echoes of the innocent truth and justice. Keep on moving, though the waters stay raging. And in this maze you can lose your way. It might drive you crazy. Don't let it faze you. No way, no way. Gotta hold on to living life day by day. Gotta hold on. Put your focus on that one day. Bayom Hahuyi Adonai Echad. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day this will all change. Treat people the same. Stop with the violence, stop with the hate. One day we will all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like Micha, Mocha, Ba'ilim Adonai, Micha, Mocha, and Arba Kodesh. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, 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 one day. Okay, love that song. All right. Thank you again for being with me, and those of you who've joined me a little bit late, if you don't have the song sheet, it's in the promo from earlier, so go ahead and get that. Okay, so here is something I want to share with you. So Cantor, of course I'm a Cantor, and so Cantor in Hebrew is called chazan. So cantor is the English word, which is also, by the way, shared in other faiths, right? You can be a cantor in a church, okay? So cantor is not a distinctively Jewish word, right? So cantor in Hebrew is called chazan, and it comes from the word chazon. Now, chazon means vision. That's what it means literally, okay? So that seems like an odd word, right? You would think that it means singer, right? That a chazan would mean someone who sings or someone who's like a prayer leader. It doesn't. That's not what it means at all. It means vision, okay? So chazan would mean somebody who has a vision, okay? So I have always felt that one of my sacred duties as a cantor, as a chazan, is to provide this vision or chazon for my kahal, for my community, through prayer and through music. And of course, I always maintain that wherever words fail, music speaks. And music, of course, exists because words cannot express. That's how music exists, because when words cease expressing themselves, music comes in. And if through the music that I can help bring to you, and my vision, my chazon, a better world can be created, a better tomorrow, a bayom hahu, that one day, that change can take place. This is a very powerful thing, and that's when we can make this bayom hahu happen. And so in thinking about my chazon, my vision, being the chazan that I am, I wanted to I, I wanted to share with you two pieces from a beautiful piece of musical theater called Ragtime. And I was able to, I went with my family this past fall to go and see a beautiful local community production at Footlight Musicals in downtown Indy, to see a beautiful production of it. And it was just gorgeous. And it spoke so true to what was going on back then in the 1920s, and it's the same thing right now. And people, we need to make these things, we need to make some changes. It is my, it's my duty, it's my vision that we make these changes. So I want to bring this to you. So I'm sharing these two pieces with you from Ragtime, because the words are so powerful. So those of you who are familiar with the show and know that the people that are singing these songs, of course, are Black men. Which I am not. I hope that you will suspend your context for a moment and know that I'm singing them to bring the words to you, to issue a charge that we come together to create this change together. So the first piece that I want to share with you is I think Ragtime's version of Bayom Hahu, which is called Till We Reach That Day. There's a day of hope, may I live to see, when our hearts are happy and our souls are free. Let the noonday dawn, oh Lord, I pray, we'll never get to heaven till we reach that day. It's a day of peace, a day of pride, a day of justice. We have been denied, when no man can live and a child can play. We'll never get to heaven till we reach that day. Let the new day dawn, oh Lord. Why does nobody care? We have voices and souls. What is wrong with this country? She was somebody's child. Give the people a day of peace, a day of pride, a day of justice. We have been denied. Let the new day dawn. Oh Lord, I pray, we'll never get to freedom till we reach that day. The words in that song are just gorgeous, so we need to take them to heart. So speaking again of my chazon, one of the things that cantors do, aside from just singing and leading the prayers, is that we help others to find their voice. In fact, it's one of the missions of the Cantors Assembly, to which I am a member, and I hope that the words of this song help you to find your voice and add it in the fight for justice and equality for all. And I'll encourage you to check out hashtag What Cantors Do, so that you can see what we do to help people in finding their voices. While I'm again singing this song, I will note that I did change the pronouns a little bit in order to sing this song again, not coming from myself, but speaking to the people as a charge to make the change. So this is a beautiful song also from Ragtime called Make Them Hear You. out and tell your story. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. How justice was your battle, and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame you for the way you chose to fight, which sometimes there are battles which are more than black or white. And you could not put down your sword when justice was your right. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Go out and tell your story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in your struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise their voice, and then, my friends, and then will justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men. Make them hear you. Let me hear you. I'll be near you. I'll be with you. So the next piece is called Lift Every Voice and Sing. And you will find this in most Christian hymnals since the early part of the 20th century. It was written in 1900 and it was dubbed by the NAACP as the Black National Anthem. It was a poem that was written for a celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And it has since been recorded by varying types of artists, from Branford Marsalis to Dionne Warwick, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, Denise Graves, and Beyonce. It evokes to me, when I read the poem, and this is just a portion of the poem, but it evokes to me images of Miriam and Moses and Aaron and all of the children of Israel standing at the shores of the sea, which I spoke about earlier, on the edges of freedom, singing this freedom song and singing praises to God for their redemption, and this image of Shirat Hayam, this song of the sea with freedom. And so this to me really just speaks about that liberation. So here is Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift every voice and sing till the heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise highest by listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sky. Stormy the road we trod, bitter the chasing rod, but in the day And my next piece, yes, it's idealistic, but that is what Bayom Hahu is. That's what this concept of Bayom Hahu is, one day. What a wonderful world. And throughout these 15 weeks of our pandemic, and um, and and all of this time that we've had to spend readjusting to new ways of living, and in in thinking about the crisis with the racial injustice that we are plagued with. I have been, especially as a Cantor and my chazon, my vision, I have been definitely thinking about silver linings, and I have to look at my children and think, how can I leave this world a better place than I found it? And I think we're doing a pretty good job with them. My children don't see the differences between color, and they seem to know what is right and what's wrong. And we have to look around us and see what's beautiful and be grateful for these smaller things in life. And I know that some of us have had a lot of time to think about that. So I of course can't help but thinking of this beautiful song called "What a Wonderful World," which of course was made famous by the great Louis Armstrong. So what a wonderful world we have, looking at the beauty around us. Ice trees of green, red roses too. I see the moon for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful And before I end our drive through Judaism to go this morning, I wanted to end with a note of patriotism. We are 10 days away from celebrating the birth of our great nation. And you know, those of you who know me well, and I've said it many times on this platform and also on my at my pulpit on my bima, I'm a patriot. I love my country. I'm the daughter and granddaughter and great granddaughter of veterans who have served our country and defended it. I am also the granddaughter and great granddaughter of immigrants who came to this country and asked, and they looked to Lady Liberty for that Bayom Hahu. They looked to Lady Liberty for that one day, for that new day. And as Catherine Lee Bates says in her beautiful poem, America the Beautiful, she says, God, mend thine every flaw. We are flawed. We need to do better, and we are in this together. So I challenge you to rise up, make them hear you, America. You are beautiful. We are beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, oh, spacious skies, oh, amber waves of green, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with humanhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful, for pilgrim feet whose stern impassioned distress, a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in a law. Oh, beautiful, for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with humanhood, from sea to shining sea.
Thank you for being with me this morning for our Judaism to go. And if you know someone who missed it this morning that would like it and would like a dish of fresh Judaism served right to them, please make sure that they see the post later. And I wish you all a very happy day and happy Bayom Hahuz. And I hope that you find your Bayom Hahu in your new day, and on that day that we all come together. So this is our last installment of Judaism to Go for the summer. And so we are signing off for now. And we'll see you very, very soon. And join us, of course, for Shabbat, as always, Friday night on Zoom, and Saturday morning on Facebook Live. It's the last Saturday of the month this coming weekend, so we will also be on Zoom Saturday evening for Havdalah. Okay, be well. Signing off.